With a solemn smile, Edeka stepped forward and bowed before the king, his father. "My name is not just Edeka. I am Prince Edeka, the heir to the throne of Aja Kingdom, which is one of the most powerful and wealthy kingdoms. Once upon a time, in an African village not far away, there lived a man named Edeka. He was known by all as a poor, homeless soul, often seen wandering the streets with tattered clothes and a hopeful but weary expression. Edeka was not just poor in possessions, but also in luck. He had tried his hands at various trades, farming, fishing, and even storytelling, but nothing seemed to bring him the fortune he desired. In this village, where social status meant everything, Edeka was treated like a discarded rag. Whenever he approached a girl he admired, seeking to marry and build a life together, he was met with scorn and ridicule. The young women would mock his poverty, sneer at his tattered appearance, and swiftly reject his proposals. It seemed that Edeka was destined to be an outcast, forever condemned to the fringes of society. He was subject to all kinds of insults and mockery. Everybody, especially ladies, often laugh at him when he passes by, calling him all kinds of funny names. It reached a point where everybody started isolating themselves from him, saying that his type of poverty is like a communicable disease, which can be transferred from one person to another. Edeka lived a life of a hopeless and homeless orphan, which he hardly afforded 3 square meals per day, and all the villagers treated him like a rag, without knowing that God can rise a nobody to somebody. One fateful day, as Edeka sat beneath a mango tree by the river bank, a young woman named Akugo approached him. Unlike others, Akugo was known for her kindness and compassion. She often helped the needy and defended those who were mistreated. As she saw Edeka sitting there with melancholic air about him, she felt a deep empathy stir within her. "Hello, Edeka," Akugo greeted him warmly. "Why do you always seem so troubled?" Edeka looked up, surprised by her genuine concern. "Oh, Akugo, it's the same old story. No one wants a poor man like me. I have tried to find work to win hearts, but nothing works." Akuko sat down beside him, her eyes reflecting a mixture of sympathy and determination. "Don't lose hope, Edeka. The world can be cruel, but there is always a kind heart too. Maybe your fortune will change one day." From that day on, Akugo made it a point of duty to visit Edeka regularly. She brought him food, clothes, and most importantly, companionship. Despite the disapproval of her friends and family, she continued to spend time with Edeka, listening to his dreams and sharing her own. Her friends will literally insult her and call her all sorts of names when they saw her with Edeka. They will always encourage her to leave Edeka, as he will only make her life miserable due to poverty. Her mother, Nneka, always beat her up whenever she see her with Edeka, and also want Edeka to leave her daughter alone, that they don't have room for poor people like him in their family. But despite all the disapproval from Akugo's friends and family, she didn't stop from visiting Idika every day and making sure that all is going well with him by providing all his needs, especially food, believing that his story will change one day. As their friendship blossomed, Idika fell deeply in love with Akugo. He admired her selflessness and unwavering belief in him. One evening, under the starlight sky, Idika summoned his courage and proposed to Akugo. "Will you marry me, Akugo?" he asked earnestly. To his astonishment, Akugo smiled and nodded. "Yes, Idika, I will marry you." The news of Akugo's decision spread like wildfire through the village. Her mother, Nneka, a proud and traditional woman, could not fathom her daughter's choice. "You cannot marry that vagabond, Akugo," Nneka exclaimed, her voice filled with dismay. "He is a disgrace to our family," she said. Akugo stood her ground, her heart torn between love and filial duty. "But mother, Idika is a good man. He has a kind heart." Nneka's eyes blazed with indignation. "Kind heart or not, he is homeless and penniless. You deserve better, my daughter." Despite her mother's protests, Akugo remained resolute in her decision. She believed in Idika and the purity of their love. As the word of Akugo's impending marriage to Idika spread through the village like wildfire, her friends, once her closest confidants, now turned their backs on her. "How could you disgrace yourself like this, Akugo?" Ugoma, her childhood friend, spoke out in disgust. "Marrying that beggar, bringing shame upon us all." Akugo's heart sank as her friends hurled insults and accusations at her. She struggled to maintain her composure amidst the betrayal of those she once trusted. But Akugo's faith in Idika never wavered. She found solace in their shared dreams of a humble life filled with love and understanding. As everybody was busy blaming and insulting Akugo, her wedding with Idika was fixed. All her families and friends were blaming her that she has made the greatest mistake in her life by choosing to marry a poor and homeless stranger. But she never looked back. Everybody was waiting to witness her wedding with a man who literally have nothing to put on the table. They were wondering the kind of wedding it is going to be, while others were saying that it is going to be funny, that they are just going there to laugh and entertain themselves. As the wedding day was fast approaching, people will literally laugh at Akugo wherever they see her. It reached a point where she stopped going outside, as she is always embarrassed whenever people laugh at her. But she never felt guilty of her decision. Despite the ridicule and scorn, Akugo stood by her decision. She and Idika began planning a modest wedding, determined to start their life together despite the odds staked against them. Little did anyone know, fate had a grand twist in store for them. On the day of their wedding, as the villagers gathered at Akugo's father's compound to witness the union of Akugo and Edeka. A magnificent procession approached. While the villagers were busy thinking the wedding will be such a very funny one because of the fact that Edeka has nothing to put on the table. Riding atop a majestic horse was none other than King Ezekweche, a very powerful and wealthy king of Aja Kingdom, and Edeka, dressed in a royal attire. The villagers gasped in astonishment as King Ezekweche, Edeka, and other members of the royal family dismounted and approached the crowd. Everyone, including Akugo, opened mouth in shock and in confusion. Everywhere were stoned in silence, unable to comprehend the turn of events. Akugo approached Edeka and looked at him, her eyes wide with realization. "Edeka," she whispered, "who are you?" With a solemn smile, Edeka stepped forward and bowed before the king, his father. "My name is not just Edeka. I am Prince Edeka, the heir to the throne of Aja Kingdom, which is one of the most powerful and wealthy kingdoms, where his father, His Royal Highness Ezekweche, is the king. I came into this kingdom in search of a wife, but at first I wanted a woman that can love me not because of who I am, so I disguised myself as a homeless poor man, and here is the kind of woman I have ever dreamed of. A woman of kind heart, a woman of endless love. She is no other person than Akugo, whom every one of you insulted and embarrassed because she chose to marry a poor homeless man." When the prince finished giving out his speech, the king, his father, blessed him and Akugo, while the villagers watched them as they get married. While Akugo was still hoping to wake up from her dreams one day, but it all happens that all is reality. Meanwhile, Edeka, the once homeless man, was welcomed back to the royal palace with open arms, and Akugo became the beloved princess of the realms. As they stood together, hand in hand, overlooking the kingdom that is now their own, Akugo whispered to her prince, "Love truly knows no boundary, Edeka." And the Prince Edeka smiled, knowing that his true fortune had been found in the unconditional love of Akugo.